In The Young and the Restless, the tension between business and personal relationships has always been a driving force, and the latest developments are no different. The emotional and professional struggles of the characters reach a breaking point as Billy Abbott faces difficult decisions that will affect not just his career, but the lives of those around him. At the center of this conflict is Phyllis Summers, whose actions have caused chaos within the Abbott family and company. Billy's tough decision. Billy Abbott is faced with an incredibly difficult situation. Phyllis, who has been a close ally in business, is now creating problems for the Abbott family, both professionally and personally. Her involvement in various conflicts and her emotional turmoil have begun to overshadow her contributions at work. Billy recognizes that, for the good of the company and the family, he needs to make a hard decision, one that will inevitably involve firing Phyllis. Sally Spectra, already frustrated by the drama Phyllis brings to the table, makes it clear to Billy that she will not stay at Abbott Communications if Phyllis remains there. Sally has been very vocal about her concerns, and she demands that Billy take action. The pressure from Sally and the situation with Phyllis becomes too much for Billy to ignore. Phyllis's emotional reaction. When Billy finally makes the decision to fire Phyllis, the emotional toll on her is immediate and devastating. Phyllis, who has always prided herself on her resilience, breaks down. She's been through so much already, her fake death, the lies, the betrayals, and now she faces being cast aside by the one person who has stood by her for so long. Her vulnerability is on full display, and it's clear that being let go from Abbott Communications is a heavy blow to her self-esteem. But even in her emotional turmoil, Phyllis is not alone. Daniel Romalotti, her son, and Summer Newman, her daughter, offer her comfort and support. They understand her pain, even if they don't entirely agree with her choices. Phyllis's ability to lean on her children shows just how important they are to her, despite the complicated relationships between them. Phyllis's new venture. After being let go from Abbott Communications, Phyllis doesn't waste time moping. Instead, she takes matters into her own hands and goes straight to Daniel's company to offer her expertise. She pitches herself as a senior advisor, someone who can turn things around and help the company succeed. It's a bold move, but Phyllis has always been a fighter. She's determined to prove her worth, both professionally and personally, even if it means stepping outside of the Abbott family's shadow. Her decision to join Daniel's business gives her a fresh start, but it also raises questions. Will she be able to put her past behind her and focus on building something new? Or will her previous actions, her turbulent relationships, and the drama that follows her make it impossible for her to succeed? Summer's anger and revenge. Summer Newman, who has always had a complicated relationship with her mother, is furious at Billy's decision. She sees it as an attack on Phyllis, and she's not willing to let it go. Summer's reaction is one of anger and betrayal, not just because of what Billy has done to her mother, but because of the personal nature of the decision. She feels that Billy has allowed his emotions to cloud his judgment, letting his relationship with Sally interfere with the business. In her typical fiery manner, Summer vows to get revenge on Billy. She doesn't take kindly to anyone messing with her family, especially when it involves her mother's future. Summer's determination to make Billy pay for his actions promises to create more drama in the already tense world of the Abbott family. Her pursuit of revenge will undoubtedly bring more conflict, and it will test her relationships with everyone involved. Billy's choice between love and work. Billy finds himself caught between his personal feelings and his professional responsibilities. He admits to Summer that he had no choice but to choose Sally over Phyllis. His decision, though difficult, reflects his commitment to his relationship with Sally, who has become an important part of his life. Billy recognizes that his personal life cannot be disregarded in favor of business, especially when it involves someone as emotionally charged as Phyllis. Billy's choice is one of love over work, and this moment marks a significant shift in his priorities. While his loyalty to his family and business remains important, it's clear that Sally's influence has reshaped his outlook. This move will likely cause friction not only with Summer and Phyllis but also with others within the company who are tied to the Abbott legacy. The aftermath and moving forward. After the emotional fallout from the firing of Phyllis, Summer's desire for revenge, and Billy's decision to prioritize his relationship with Sally, the Abbott family is left to pick up the pieces. Phyllis may have found a new avenue for success with Daniel's company, but her relationships with those around her have been strained to their breaking point. She will have to work hard to rebuild trust, especially with Billy, Summer, and even her own children. For Billy, his decision to side with Sally over Phyllis will have consequences, both personally and professionally. His relationship with Summer is likely to suffer, and he may find himself at odds with other members of the family. However, his commitment to Sally could strengthen their bond, and it will be interesting to see how they navigate this new chapter together. As for Summer, her desire for revenge will only fuel the drama. She's not one to back down easily, and her vendetta against Billy will keep things tense in the Abbott household. How far will she go to get back at him, and what lengths will she take to protect her mother? The bigger picture, ultimately, this storyline revolves around the complexities of family, business, and love. Phyllis, Billy, Summer, and the rest of the Abbott family are grappling with how to balance personal feelings with professional decisions. While Phyllis has been cast aside for the moment, her journey is far from over, and she will continue to challenge those around her as she tries to carve out her own future. Meanwhile, the tensions between Billy, Sally, and the rest of the Abbott family will only continue to rise, leading to more explosive moments and emotional confrontations in the future. In the world of the young and the restless, loyalty, love, and ambition often clash in the most dramatic ways. As these characters navigate their complicated relationships, fans can expect even more twists and turns as the fallout from these decisions ripples through Genoa City. The world of the young and the restless is one of ever-shifting alliances, personal betrayals, and dramatic turns, especially when it comes to the complex and often turbulent character of Phyllis Summers. Once again, Phyllis finds herself in a pivotal moment, forced to reckon with her past mistakes, current complications, and the uncertain future of her career. As the drama unfolds, she navigates the struggles of motherhood, loyalty, and her constant battle to rebuild herself in the ruthless world of Genoa City. Phyllis's transition and new beginnings. Phyllis has always been a fighter, resilient in the face of adversity. After being fired from Abbott Communications, it seemed as though she might be left behind, discarded for her emotional outbursts and her insistence on bringing Daniel Romalotti Jr. into the fold. Her personal life and her ambition have often blurred together, and in this case, her fixation on helping Daniel navigate his own struggles ended up costing her everything. Billy Abbott, unable to separate Phyllis's personal issues from the business, finally makes the tough call to push her out. This decision marks another chapter in Phyllis's tumultuous career, one that's filled with victories and devastating defeats. But Phyllis isn't one to stay down for long. Although her professional future may seem uncertain, the possibility of a new beginning is always just around the corner for someone as determined as she is. After being forced out of Abbott Communications, Phyllis might seek refuge elsewhere. This time, Marchetti could offer her a new opportunity. Fans of The Young and the Restless will recall that Phyllis once ran Marchetti home, though she was ultimately fired after a series of personal and professional missteps. Could her return to the company signal the start of a powerful comeback? With her extensive experience in the fashion world and her undeniable drive, Phyllis could find herself back in a position of power at Marchetti, but this time, she's wiser and more determined than ever to prove she's capable of succeeding on her own terms. Phyllis and Daniel. The strained mother-son relationship. Phyllis's relationship with her son, Daniel Romalotti Jr., is a complicated one, to say the least. On one hand, Phyllis is deeply committed to ensuring Daniel's happiness and success, but on the other, Daniel has always been a difficult son to please. As Phyllis struggles with her own career and personal life, she remains intensely focused on Daniel, hoping to help him navigate his own uncertainties. However, her efforts are often met with resistance. Daniel, in a moment of clarity, begins to distance himself from his mother's attempts to control his life. Phyllis's help, while well-intentioned, doesn't always align with what Daniel wants. He's already struggling with his own sense of identity, his place in the world, and the recent painful loss of his love, Heather Stevens. Adding Phyllis's expectations and ambitions to the mix only complicates his feelings. Phyllis, who has a history of pushing people away with her assertive personality, feels the sting of rejection from Daniel. This leaves her at a crossroads. She's desperate to help him, but she's also keenly aware that pushing him too hard might only drive him further away. In a moment of reflection, she may realize that the best way to support Daniel is to give him the space he needs to find his own path, but doing so may also force her to reevaluate her own life and career. Billy and Phyllis, the end of the road at Abbott Communications. Billy Abbott's decision to fire Phyllis isn't just a personal one, it's a business decision as well. He's growing increasingly frustrated with Phyllis's focus on her son rather than the company's needs. For Billy, this isn't just about Phyllis's emotional issues, it's about Abbott Communications staying on track, focused on growth and success. Phyllis's ongoing drama with her personal life was becoming a liability for the company, and Billy couldn't afford to let her continue her emotional roller coaster in the workplace. Phyllis, of course, takes the firing hard. It's a blow to her ego and a painful reminder of her past failures. She's had a long history of being let go from companies, some of it due to her own behavior, but much of it due to circumstances beyond her control. Yet, it's never easy to be pushed aside, especially when she's invested so much of herself into her work. Billy's decision to fire her marks the end of an era at Abbott Communications. Phyllis has been a fixture at the company for so long, but it's clear that she has become a liability. Whether it's because of her emotional outbursts, her penchant for stirring up drama, or simply her inability to separate her personal life from her work life, Phyllis's time at Abbott Communications has come to an end. Phyllis's return to Marchetti. After being ousted from Abbott Communications, Phyllis sets her sights on Marchetti, the company she once ran. The fashion world has always been a place where Phyllis felt at home, and returning to Marchetti might be her chance at redemption. While she may have burned bridges with some in the business world, her talent and experience remain undeniable. At Marchetti, Phyllis will be able to build something from the ground up, free from the constraints of her past mistakes. She may find that running a successful business is easier when she's working for herself rather than trying to please everyone around her. Her journey at Marchetti could be filled with personal and professional growth as she tries to balance her ambitions with the needs of her family. However, her return won't be without challenges. The company has evolved since she last worked there, and she will need to prove that she's capable of leading once again. The question remains: can Phyllis rise from the ashes of her past mistakes and find success at Marchetti? Or will her previous behavior continue to haunt her, making it impossible to truly start over? Summer's role in Phyllis's journey. Summer Newman's involvement in her mother's life is a complex one. While Summer is often caught between loyalty to her mother and her own need for independence, she is also deeply invested in Phyllis's future. Phyllis's struggles have always been a point of contention between them, but Summer has a strong desire to see her mother succeed. Whether it's helping Phyllis rebuild her career or giving her the space she needs to find her own way, Summer plays an integral role in her mother's journey. Summer may feel a sense of responsibility toward Phyllis, especially now that her mother has been fired from Abbott Communications. While Summer may not always agree with Phyllis's methods, she understands the importance of family and is determined to support her mother in any way she can. The question remains, can Summer truly help Phyllis, or will their relationship continue to be strained by the complexities of Phyllis's decisions and actions? As Phyllis moves forward, Summer's role in her life will be more important than ever. The future for Phyllis. Phyllis's future is uncertain, but one thing is clear. She's not one to give up easily. Whether it's rebuilding her career at Marchetti or finding a new path altogether, Phyllis will fight tooth and nail to prove her worth. Her journey will be filled with challenges, but her resilience and determination will drive her forward. In the world of the young and the restless, nothing is ever set in stone. Phyllis may face setbacks, but she will always find a way to rise again. Will she find success at Marchetti? Will she mend her relationship with Daniel and Summer? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain, Phyllis Summers is not going down without a fight.